everyone, and welcome back to my channel. You're watching Growing in Vancouver Island, and my name is Lisa. Today I'm going to take you on a tour of our backyard suburban orchard. So let's see everything that has changed since the last tour. Here we are in the upper section of our two-tiered backyard. This is one of our 5 variety apple trees. And it's probably doing the best out of most of the fruit trees in the yard. This has been a hard year with our weird weather this year. Cold and wet spring and a really late frost, and the fruit trees have not handled that well. But this apple tree is actually doing pretty well. Probably grown the most this year than it's ever grown since I planted it. And there's quite a few little apples. 5 different varieties on here, hiding in all sorts of locations on this tree. So I think this is going to be a good year for this particular apple tree. Just a few feet away from our tall 5 variety apple tree, we have a short 5 variety apple tree. And you may wonder why this tree is so short. These trees were pretty much the same size when I planted them. The first one I showed you was a year younger than this one. This was the first apple tree I planted. Also 5 variety. This one was hit hard by our frost this spring. You can still see a lot of the damage on it. It's all over the tree. A lot of these leaves have fallen off. Some of them I plucked, but it still has apples on it. Not a ton. A lot of the fruit was affected as well, but here and there we do have apples. So the story of this tree is when this tree was just planted its first season, something, we don't know what, could have been my garden supervisor, it could have been a bear, it could have been a person from the neighborhood, mauled this tree down. And it was about this big, and if I still have a picture, I'm going to search for it. I used to have a picture of when it was this, basically maybe 5 inches tall, just a little stump in the ground, and I was actually going to pull it out. I was so disturbed by what happened to the tree, and my parents convinced me to leave it, and by spring it had buds on it. I let it grow and it turned into a wide tree and short, so that's kind of perfect. Most years it's actually pretty healthy. And here we are in the lower section of our yard. The garden supervisor decided to join in. And this is our 5 variety cherry tree. Most of my fruit trees were purchased at our local Costco. I absolutely love Costco's fruit trees, and most of them are, the combination trees are either 7 years old or 8 years old. And it does have some cherries on it. I've had a few red ones already. It's got lots of green ones still that are tiny. Everything in our yard is really behind in the season this year. There's a bigger cherry closer to the top here. This spring that it has been really hard on all of our fruit trees. And here is my 5 variety plum tree. It's actually 6 varieties now because we grafted a 6th variety on, and I do believe some of the grafts took. They did flower this year, but I don't think we're going to get any plums because the weather pretty much wrecked a lot of the fruit, including the plums, but we have a few left on the tree. I'm gonna zoom in. It's a little bit dark now, but I think you'll still be able to see these guys. There's some here. We had hundreds, if not thousands, of flowers on this tree in the springtime, and the frost and cold, wet spring took care of a lot of our fruit. We even had bees at the time, and then it got cold, the bees went away, and the trees all suffered, unfortunately. And that is the palm tree. So let's look at some more trees. It's getting a little dark, but hopefully you can still see this video. This is a nectarine tree. I planted this March, and I thought it was dead. Well, I didn't think it was dead. It's looking dead, but it's never been breakable. And coming right down to the bottom, I thought I saw a sprout on here just yesterday, but now I don't see it. Maybe it's too dark, but I don't think it's dead. I think it's gonna make a comeback, even though there's no leaves on it yet. Here is one of my Desert King fig trees. This one is doing exceptionally well. It's got several figs on it. Most of them are pretty high in the tree, if you can see those. They are not ripe yet. Typically they probably would be starting to ripen, but they are a long way from being ripe because our weather is so cold. Over here by the house, this is my coconut ice peach tree. I planted this the spring of 2020, and last year it gave me 17 of the most delicious peaches in 2021. Fast forward to 2022, here he is. The supervisor is doing some duties. We had a horrible spring. The tree was full of disease. I did a couple videos showing that. It's made almost a complete recovery. There is almost no peach leaf curl, the fungus that affects peach trees. It's pretty much gone. It was probably covering about 80 to 90% of the tree. So that's amazing that my fertilizers worked. Oh my gosh, this little man literally ran outside when he realized I was filming to do a little dance on the gravel. What a silly little man. The Zipper just loves the camera. So after our cold, wet, and frosty spring, we have, I believe, a total of 4 peaches on the tree. There's one here hiding behind the leaves, another one here, and I know there's 2 more, but I don't see them right now. So 4 peaches from 17 to 4. Hopefully next year is a little better. Here is my second Desert King fig tree. This tree is quite a beast. It's getting lots of new growth at the bottom, which is awesome because after these figs that all formed at the top of the tree are ripe, I am going to, at some point before the next season, trim it so that it's probably about this tall instead of being way up there, because I don't want to climb a ladder, and I very well likely will need a stepping stool or ladder for those figs, because I'm not that tall, and it's pretty tall. I want to say 10 to 12 feet tall at least. So that is the conclusion of today's backyard orchard tour. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Have a nice evening.